How did the universe begin? Is there a God who created all things? These are two of the most important questions we can ask, yet they are rarely asked together. We tend to think about the origin of the universe in one way and our relationship with God in another. But these two ways of thinking really should come together. What we believe about the beginning of the universe should inform what we believe about God, and what we believe about God should inform what we believe about the beginning of the universe. Most people today believe that the universe began with a Big Bang. This is not only what the evidence seems to suggest, but it's also the default position for anyone who has stopped believing in creationism. The problem with this view, however, is that it leaves us without an explanation for what caused the Big Bang, or why there was something rather than nothing. There are several attempts to deal with this. One is to push the question back further. If the universe began with the Big Bang, then what caused that? Maybe a quantum fluctuation, maybe a collision with another universe. And so the question of the origin of the universe becomes a question of infinite regress. This doesn't seem very satisfactory, but it's not much worse than the attempt to answer the question by appealing to a God who created everything. The difficulty with this answer is that it doesn't actually answer anything. It just pushes the question of ultimate origins further back into prehistory or further back into mythology. It leaves us with two separate explanations, one for how the universe began and one for why there was a God who did the beginning. But these two origins are ultimately unrelated. They have nothing to do with each other. If we want to know why we exist, that is, if we want to know why there is something rather than nothing, then we need an answer that deals with both the beginning of the universe and the existence of God at the same time. An answer that does not appeal to either the infinite past or an uncaused cause. Here's where I think process theology can help us. Process theology is a way of understanding God and the universe that is based on the idea of becoming rather than being. It's a way of thinking that takes seriously the fact that we live in a universe that is constantly changing, a universe of flux and flow, a universe of process. The idea is that the universe begins not with a bang, but with a question that arises out of the very depths of reality, a question that cries out for an answer. And the answer to that question is more reality. The universe begins as a pure potentiality, a source of creative energy, and this creative energy actualizes itself by answering the call for more reality with more reality. And this answering of the call for more reality with more reality is what we call God. So in process theology, God is not the cause of the beginning of the universe. God is the beginning of the universe. In other words, God is not the one who started the process. God is the process. What this means is that the question of the origin of the universe and the question of the existence of God become one and the same question. They have the same answer. The answer is that reality begins with a creative energy that calls out for more reality, and that answering of the call with more reality is God. So in process theology, the universe doesn't begin with a bang because there was something there before the bang, some cause of the bang. The universe begins with the bang. The bang is the beginning. And the universe is the answer to the question that the bang poses. The answer to the question, is there more reality? Yes, there is more reality. There is a universe of reality. This might not seem like an answer to the question of how the universe began, but it is an answer. It's an answer that doesn't leave us with two separate explanations for two separate parts of reality. It's an answer that unifies the origin of the universe with the existence of God. In this view, God isn't the cause of the beginning of the universe. God is the beginning of the universe. God isn't the one who started the process. God is the process. The universe is the answer to the question that God poses, the question that reality asks, the question that every beginning asks, which is there more? And the answer to that question is yes.